evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to the World of Football podcast, live on the Dugout Football channel. It is episode 4. It's going along really, really nicely. Now, as you can see, I am joined by my co-host, Josh. How are you doing?
Good evening, everyone. Here we go, episode 4 already. Flying by.
Mad. That's mad.
Flying by.
I know, absolutely. And we're also joined by a very special guest as well, Dami from SW6 Podcast. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. I don't know if you guys can pick up the sirens from outside, but Jesus Christ, I don't know what's going on. But I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been another very, very good weekend of football, and I'm sure we'll come into it. Especially, let me just start off. Now, a few sad things have happened this week, and I think I have to say this now. Our thoughts and prayers are with Nobby Styles' family, because Nobby Styles passed away the weekend due to dementia. So our thoughts are with him. Also, our thoughts are with Maria Zaliukas' family. Maria Zaliukas died aged 36 due to motor neuron disease, which was absolutely shocking. Really, really sad as well. Also, our thoughts are with Sir Bobby Charlton's family, because he was diagnosed with dementia at the weekend as well. So our thoughts are with his family. And also our thoughts are with a Scottish icon. Sir Sean Connery passed away as well. So I just wanted to start off with that little tribute as well. But as we've got Dami here, we are going to talk about Chelsea now. We have 3 more guests coming on. I can't believe I'm saying this. Oh, it's going to be a very, very packed show for sure. So we'll get through that. But yeah, let's talk about Chelsea, and let's talk about the Burnley game at the weekend. Yeah, Josh, 3-0 against Burnley. How were you feeling after that?
Well, there's a quick side note. We want to say a big thank you to Dami for coming on. You know, he is very, very well known within the Chelsea football Twitter community. He's been on podcasts with some of the biggest Chelsea Twitter accounts, Alex Goldberg. You've talked to a couple of Chelsea correspondents. Your podcast is extremely known. So to join us, it's not sugarcoat anything. We are not as no one in the community, but thank you for coming along and sharing your time with us. So, you know, we do appreciate your time, because, you know, that shows a true-hearted guy who is willing to help out anyone at any time. And obviously, you spoke for a few times over the last couple of months. But regarding to what Doug said about the Chelsea game, I think the Chelsea game was exactly what we were hoping to see within Chelsea. You know, I think it's just I think the biggest problem with Chelsea is the chemistry, the unit, and the hard work off the ball, which we have struggled. Now, let's be fair, Burnley never caused Chelsea any problems defensively. So can you say Chelsea played well defensively? Yes, but this is Burnley who hit long balls, and Thiago Silva dealt with them. You know, they didn't have a shot on target. So, but attacking has not been our problem this season. I think offensively we've been great. You know, I think we were offensively great against Liverpool until we went down to 10 men. I think Lampard wants to play the 4-3-3, but I feel like he doesn't feel like Kante can play that role against bigger teams. I feel like against a Burnley, who he doesn't really have to do too much in terms of breaking up the play and offensively, and he can let Kai Havertz and Mason Mount play. I think Mason Mount in the number 8 role is fantastic. That's his position. That made him look truly better. Havertz, I think, in the number 8 actually played really well too, and his defensive work rate is incredible. And then Timo Werner, who's obviously drafted in late after Pulisic got injured in the warm-ups. I think Tammy Abraham played exceptionally well. I think his link-up play was absolutely excellent. He was focused. You know, he was giving Timo Werner into Ziyech balls, and Ziyech is just, that man is a joy to watch. I could sit there and watch him all day long. You know, his crosses into the box, his movement, his understanding. You know, I think defensively we were never tested, but it's still a clean sheet. A clean sheet is a clean sheet. Maybe last year we could have conceded 2 goals to Burnley for all we know, because the Kante game was exceptional, breaking up the play. And offensively, there was no question about how we've been playing offensively, but I think without a shadow of a doubt, 4-3-3 is the best formation going forward. Against the smaller teams, against the bigger teams, I think the 4-2-3-1 works quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny, what did you make of the Chelsea performance against Burnley?
I mean, I'm satisfied. Obviously, it's a win. So obviously we won 3-0. That was a good performance. I got to see Ziyech playing at last. I got to see certain individuals playing as well. So For me, I was quite satisfied. We kept the clean sheet. Obviously, there's still a bit of questions to be asked because obviously, like you said, I've been one of the people who has come out. I've been very open about saying I don't feel N'Golo Kante is supposed to play as a lone DM, especially against like sides that are going to press him heavily. Because one thing, a lot of people, and not to take anything away from the win, because obviously it's a good win and like winning is all that matters at the end of the day. But I feel like when you put someone like N'Golo Kante at the base of a midfield with two number 8s that don't really want to hold the ball for too long in Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, you're going to be left with the midfield that has a lot of players scrambling around. So obviously, I know Lampard likes to have players that are very locomotive and very agile, and he has that in all three of those players. And a lot of people do say that Havertz is a bit lazy, which is a load of crap. But at the end of the day, like I just feel like for the game, yes, like the game we played against Burnley was really good. Was 3 points. We had it well done. I was expecting us to win that game, and I'm expecting us to win our next 5 because the fixtures after that are going to be really, really crucial moving forward. But yeah, it was an impressive game. Good performance from Ziyech. You know, obviously Werner didn't really have the best of the game, but he scored a goal, which is really important. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that result. I'm curious to see what happens against Rennes, against Mendy's former team, and I want to see what happens against Sheffield United as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking off air, Josh, that Sheffield United haven't actually won a game yet. So wouldn't it be quite beneficial for you to actually beat them, because you didn't beat them last season, did you?
No, because we bottled a 2-0 lead, I think, in the third game of the season. We were 2-0 up and then we bottled the 2-0 lead because they scored right at the end of the first half and then right at the end of the second half. And then we obviously got absolutely destroyed away from home, like when Lampard got it tactically wrong. It was an Antonio Rudiger disaster class that game. But here's a question to you, Dammy. So obviously Lampard has made big calls so far over his last 2 seasons. He didn't keep Willian in the end. He got rid of David Luiz. He so far, well, at least for the first part of the season, excluded Antonio Rudiger out of the squad. He's officially made a 71.5 million goalkeeper. Kepa Arrizabalaga as a number 2 keeper. So would you say do you think Lampard has made big ballsy calls that will do Chelsea better in the future?
When you say big ballsy calls in terms of like dropping certain individuals long term and like getting rid of certain players?
Yeah. Like getting rid of David Luiz in the manner he did, for example, when he was playing in pre-season, and the next minute he's gone to Arsenal.
I mean, what he did with David Luiz was a statement, if anything. So basically, he came into the club and played. Basically, he used to play with David Luiz. Remember that he won Champions League with him in 2012. So it's not like they were not too familiar with each other. So he came into the squad. He saw, you know what? If you're not going to pattern up, then I'm going to ship you out, boss. Like, no wasting of time. My guy came into the squad. He knows exactly what I wanted to do. And like I said, it's a statement of intent. So hold on, let me just put my headphones on because there's a lot of like reverb involved. Let's put this in. Apologies. I don't know. I always have this issue when I'm streaming. I don't know. Yeah, there you go.
Don't worry. Doug's dodgy internet that always causes problems anyway.
Yeah, honestly it does. Just very, very quickly, Nipun Sharma has asked this, is the stream invite only? What to do next time we're on stream, message us by my Twitter or Josh's Twitter, and then we can get you on. We've got 3 other guests coming on tonight. So what will happen next week? If you do see us online, then just message us. I know you're a big Chelsea fan. I know I've seen you on Dominic Rich's channel, but yeah, just message us, and we'll get you on the podcast for sure. Dammy.
Yeah, so like I was saying, at the end of the day, for me, I just feel like Lampard getting rid of all those players or like letting them go is really important. And obviously benching the likes of Kepa. Like, I mean, Kepa has really bad. Oh God, what have you done? Anyways, like I was saying, Lampard has to get rid of some of these players like Luiz, benching Kepa, getting rid of Willian. That's like a statement of intent because these are players that had a massive influence on the dressing room. And it was clear that he didn't want their personality to weigh down on anything that was going on in the squad. I mean, I knew he wanted to get rid of Antonio Rudiger, but we couldn't get any suitors for the man as well. So at the end of the day, he has come in. He's built a fantastic squad. That's one thing that no one can take away from him. He built a squad, and I believe he knows exactly what he wants as well. So I mean, you've got like your Ben Chilwell, you've got Thiago Silva, you've got Timo Werner, you've got Hakim Ziyech, you've got Kai Havertz, you've got so many different players that he signed. And I'm really proud of all the signings that he's had so far. Obviously, like, I don't think we've had any one of the times I've played badly at all, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with what he's done. So like I said, it's a statement of intent, definitely. So it was quite needed as well.
Villa together, the Lions roar. Reese will be back next week. He will be back next week. He will be in the comments somewhere. But yeah, he's not on this week. But no, he hasn't banned the use of mobile phones. So
are you okay, Doug, if I talk away here?
Go ahead, go ahead.
So obviously, one of the big exclusions from the squad against Burnley was Mateo Kovacic. Now, Kovacic was exceptional last year. He was our player of the season. Now, he played in the pivot with Jorginho against the Russian side in the Champions League. And now, we always said, I think even you said a couple of times that Jorginho Kovacic pivot was really, really good for the period of time. But against the Russian team, it was atrocious. And I think Lampard was right in making his triple sub. Kovacic has been I could be wrong, but I don't think he started in the Premier League this season, or has only started in one game. He was excluded against the squad. He chose to have an extra defender on the bench instead of Kovacic. Do you think there is potential issue that Kovacic does not sit in the way Lampard wants to play? He can't play as a CDM, and he's not a goal-scoring midfielder. Or do you think this is just Lampard maybe just rotating the squad since that midfield is congested as hell?
Hot take. If Lampard had Declan Rice this season, you wouldn't see Jorginho, Kovacic or Kante playing at all. That's what I feel. Because all those players have different... Lampard wants a midfielder that can do all their jobs combined, and that's what Sarri did. So Sarri played all three of them because they had different points to their game that he needed in order to progress the ball properly. Do you know where I'm coming from? Yes. But with Lampard, obviously, he wants someone that can do a bit of defending. He wants a Mikel. Do you know what I mean? And Mikel could pass the ball a bit. He could do the nasty tackle, and he was quite press resistant. You have Kovacic, who's very press resistant, but he can't do anything like... Literally, you could put Kovacic near the opponent's box and he's not going to shoot, he's not going to do anything, and doesn't even get that many assists either. You've got Kante, who's a fantastic ball winner, but he's not really good at distributing the ball. And then you've got Jorginho. He can pass the ball, and then, the rest is he can't run faster than my nan. Do you understand? So, at the end of the day, if you've got players like that, I feel like the situation with Kovacic is kind of... It's upsetting to see, considering the fact that he's been a player of the year. Like I said, I have gone on record saying that Jorginho and Kovacic was my favorite pivot because I know defensively they're not going to be the most astute or they're not going to be the best. Definitely not. But it's a bit suicidal. I don't know. There's something interesting about seeing that fantastic football. They had this fantastic synergy at some time during the point, like last season. But I think the one with Krasnodar was due to the fact that they hadn't played together yet this season. I don't think they had played together before that game, like this season. And Kovacic has already been out for a while. I need to get accustomed to the game. But at the end of the day, with Kovacic, I'm not too sure. Lampard has this thing of freezing players out, and then you just don't know what happens to them. You look at Fikayo Tomori, for example. He's just not playing, or Callum Hudson-Odoi. All this, I don't know exactly what's going on with that, so I can't really say too much. But I do also feel assuming everything is fine, there are no issues in the squad or anything, I just feel like it's all down to tactical stability and everything. I feel like Jorginho and Kante offers more as a pivot to Frank Lampard and to the squad as a whole when they do play compared to Kovacic and Kante. Because like I've said, Kante and Kovacic can't play together. Jorginho and Kovacic, yeah, I love them, but when it comes to the stats and being able to be more balanced, you've got Jorginho and Kante, which is a lot better. And Kovacic can't sit alone by himself. So I just feel like it's a tactical thing, if anything. It's a bit upsetting since he was a player of the year, like I said, but things happen.
So, so talk about three players that could end up leaving Chelsea. So these are players that are currently playing for Chelsea, but could potentially leave in the summer. First one, your favourite centre back, who I always joke around with him, Antonio Rudiger. You've got a wee nickname for him, don't you? If you want to tell everyone what his nickname is.
I do not know what you're talking about. Oh my God, Bobo the Clown, let's go.
No, the thing about Rudiger is he is probably one of those centre backs who doesn't know how to time a challenge correctly. He just sticks a foot out and kind of hopes for the best. I think every time he tries to play out from the back, it's like a bullet ball. It's like a ball going towards someone at 100 miles per hour. Trying to watch a Tony Rudiger player from the back is, it gives you a bit. It's worse than David Luiz, and that says something. Tony Rudiger, he's talked to Lampard. He played against the Russian team. He was in the squad against Burnley. He seems to be the starting quarterback ahead of Christensen and Fikayo Tomori. Would you keep him or would you sell him?
You can go. I'm sorry, you can leave there. I'm done with it. Yeah. With no disrespect whatsoever, I feel like Rudiger, I've always said, even when I had 10, 20 followers, I've been saying this for the longest time. I've always said Antonio Rudiger at best is a rotatory centre back. He should not be starting for an elite level club of Chelsea stature. Do you know what I mean? Maybe if he plays, with no disrespect to the likes of Burnley and the rest, I don't feel like Rudiger should be starting in that squad because he makes too many mistakes and he's not really a leader per se. Do you know where I'm coming from? There are too many mistakes, and for someone of that age, you'd expect him to be a bit more composed with the way he plays, but he just doesn't really even bring that much to the back line at the end of the day. So I feel like arrivederci. Goodbye.
What about so this is the big one. Are you all happy with? I'll let Dan answer this one. How do you feel at the start? What do you rate Chelsea started the Premier League season?
I'll start the league. I mean, it's not been. I mean, this last obviously we've won our last 2 games, but our league position compared to what everyone else is, I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one, you know, because like I take it right now simply because like we started so. We didn't start the best. You know, I'm coming from. I just take it just because. But I do want to see like progression. Obviously, I understand that signing these many players, like you sign 6-7 new players, and you're putting all of them into the starting 11. They all need to like obviously gel and start playing together well. I mean, obviously, I've come on record saying that I'm expecting them to do things a bit faster. But at the end of the day, considering the circumstances, the fact that we didn't have like any any preseason. I know no one had a preseason, but we didn't have one either. But a lot of the squads of the other opponent squads didn't change up that much. We changed up like over 50% of our squad, and they didn't really get that time to gel together. So I do feel like, yeah, I take it for now. But like I keep saying to everybody, I'm going to give my stronger opinions on how we've really played in December, January, February. That's when I'm going to voice some opinions a lot more, because by then, without giving them a bit more time, I'll be able to analyze how the other teams are playing and compare them to like our position and what we were at last season. Because like I keep telling people, last season, I did tweet this as soon as the season ended. I said, it's all fun and game celebrating that we get 4th place, we play in the Champions League last season, but I'm not having that this season. I need a trophy and I need some massive improvements on like the points. And like, I don't know, I'm not saying we should go away to win the Premier League, but we need to win something. I mean, we've already messed it up with the Capital One, so we need to. It's not Capital One anymore. What do they call it now?
Caramel.
Nah, they changed it to Papa John's Cup or something like that. I can't remember what it is.
Papa John's Cup.
I'm not even joking. It has a new name. I forgot what it is, but I mean, whatever that trophy is called, we all know like the Capital like, League Cup. Mickey Mouse. But whatever that trophy is, like we've already messed up, so we're left with the FA Cup. So I'm trying to see us win the trophy, and I'm trying to see us finish with a better point side. I don't want us to be 15, 20 points behind first and second. Not coming from. So that's what I'm looking at right now.
So Doug, Liverpool haven't particularly played great all season. You're missing Van Dijk for large periods. You were missing Matip as well. You had to play Phillips against West Ham. West Ham gave you a game. But one thing about Liverpool, no other team in the league is doing at the moment, and that's able to score goals to win games. Are you happy with where Liverpool are at the moment?
Well, I mean, to be top with, you know, like our first sort of choice centre back injured, and like Fabinho being injured as well, it's absolutely mental as well. I know that the Villa result, everyone's going to say that was an absolute freak result, and I think everyone's going to say that. But to be top right now is bonkers, considering that Chelsea haven't started well. Like Manchester United, I mean, our 5th. We will come on to Manchester United. Man City, you know, they're struggling to score goals right now. Only 1-0 against Sheffield United, and to be honest, Sheffield United played really, really well in that game. It was just that half the time. I don't know if anyone watched Match of the Day or the weekend there, but the amount of times Sheffield United could have put that ball into the box, I think I lost count. I think it was about 7 or 8 times. So. But no, absolutely pleased. Looks like we've got a very good player in Diogo Jota coming through now. I know he was great at Wolves, but my goodness me, he started like a house on fire.
So Dami, back to you, but run by Chelsea players. So the next one is the big topic of the 71.5 million signing of Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now, first of all, this emphasised to everyone here that the reason why Kepa was bought was a panic buy because Thibaut Courtois went AWOL to go to Real Madrid. Kepa was not a keeper that was on Chelsea's radar for a long period of time. Yes, Sarri was a fan, but it was a pure and utter panic buy because there was a release clause, no negotiations were needed. We needed a quick deal, and that was why he was bought. Now, last season, I think Kepa was just probably. I think you were probably better sticking Dami in that's himself. I think we probably had a better chance of a clean sheet. And that Willy Caballero played in more games than not, and he should all for being older than Petr Cech, who has come out of retirement. No, Chelsea are in a sticky situation. Chelsea are in a sticky situation with Kepa. He's on 170k a week, I believe. He's still got 5 years left on his contract. How did Chelsea ship him out? A loan seems the only way to do it, but who the hell's going to take him?
Bro, you know, the thing with Kepa right now is like my friend Matisse, my good friend Matisse, made a very good point about like he made a reference to cars and how you take them out of the dealership. So, you know, when you take your car out of the dealership and then the price depreciates immediately. And then the more you use that car, like the more the price depreciates. Kepa should just chill out on the bench. Obviously, I understand that he got negatively affected at the fact that he broke up with his girlfriend of 7 years, I think 7 or 8 years. So that could have played a very massive part into why he dropped off, because statistically it was absolutely shambolic. He was the most shocking thing I've ever seen in my 20 years of watching football, with all respect possible. Because at the end of the day, he was conceding a goal every 2 shots. Nobody does that. Like, that's a goal every 2 shots. That's the worst keeper the Premier League has seen in how many years of existence. And the person that was managing him, like his coach, was second after him. So it says a lot. And like you said, it was a panic buy. At the end of the day, the club wasn't really meant to go for him. We spent a lot of time, because, you know, Alisson of Liverpool was actually who were meant to get that. But Marina was being a bit slow and sluggish. And by the time Liverpool came in, snapped him up. And then Kepa, what's his name? The Snake, Courtois, was like, yo, I need to bounce. And then he left. And then we just said, oh, who's the next keeper we could get? We had to go and get that. I was going to be rude, but we had to go get Kepa. So at the end of the day, like, I just feel like we just need to leave him to do his thing. I don't think that we should leave him on the bench. I'm sure a club will definitely come along and pick him up eventually. I think I've heard a lot of shouts for Ziyech. No, not Ziyech, sorry, Sevilla wanting to come and pick him up. So I'm looking forward to that. But like, if we do want him to retain any form of value whatsoever, we just need to leave him on the bench as long as he's not required on the pitch. Yeah, coming from. So.
Because even when Mendy came in and he had to play against Southampton because Mendy picked up the injury, and again, Kepa just, after what he said on international duty about how he had confidence and he would try and do a job, like the second and third goal, the goal was like he came out to try and snatch the ball, but kind of just sat down on his knees. He doesn't look like he is one of those things that he needs to go for the sake of his own mental health, and
definitely. And
I think Lampard has tried to. I think, in fairness to Lampard, no matter how bad he's been, he's tried to give Kepa the chance. But time, it is as simple as this: if Kepa was still in nets, Lampard loses his job. So yeah. I think Lampard had to make a decision. So the next part is the Chelsea vice captain Jorginho. So no one really knew if Jorginho was going to stay in the summer or not. It was a 50-50 choice. Arsenal were looking at him. Juventus, before Mauricio got sacked. So he's played this season. He has played well this season. But is he going to be someone who is in Lampard's plans long term? If Declan Rice or even Ethan Ampadu, who's doing very well at CDM for Sheffield United, is Jorginho simply filling a spot that Lampard will try and fill by someone else next year?
If we could get someone to buy him, he was 100% gone this last summer. Like, if Lampard could get someone to pick him up, he was already gone. So the fact that he stayed made me very happy, because I used to watch, before I became exponentially, before I came a lot busier with like work and academics and stuff, I used to watch a lot of Serie A, I used to watch a lot of the German league, and I used to watch Jorginho under Sarri in his second season of Napoli. That's when I started watching like Italian, like Napoli and that. I love the player and I love the form factor and everything. He's not built too well for the Premier League, but I don't see him. He's not in Lampard's long-term plans. And I don't think Kovacic is in Lampard's long-term plans. And I feel Kante is only in his plans simply because he's the best we currently have. And he's a world-class player, literally. I don't think that's the only excuse. If not, I don't see, like I said at the start of this episode, I do feel like none of those 3 midfielders are actually supposed to be here. If Lampard could get his hands on a Joshua Kimmich from Bayern Munich, all those 3 midfielders, Kante will probably go down to like second fiddle. A lot of people are probably going to abuse me for this. Like, oh my God, why are you talking like this about Kante? I know everybody loves Kante. I love him too. But at the end of the day, he doesn't fit the criteria. Do you know where I'm coming from? So, yeah, like you said, likes of Ethan Ampadu, I'm rooting massively for my boy. I've gone on record saying that I like him over Declan Rice. But at the end of the day, competition breeds winners. So I really don't mind. But when he gets his hand on Ampadu and Declan Rice, Jorginho is out the door. Don't be surprised if Kovacic is out the door as well. Don't quote me on that, but that's just based on my personal opinion, innit? Because like, at the end of the day, he's not playing. He's not even playing now. Do you know where I'm coming from? So that's just how things are. So
Frank Lampard is a big admirer of Van Ampadu. He wasn't with Derby. He wanted him. He did want the game full last year of the transfer ban, but Ampadu was very, very unfortunate with injuries. And then obviously Nagelsmann decided to be a twat and not use him at all at RB Leipzig. I think that's that he was one of Old Trafford in the Champions League. Just sums up what he's like as a personality. So. Here's another question, and this is I've been asked this question a lot. I want to hear your opinion on it. It's a bit weird saying this off the back of a 3-0 win and 4 clean sheets out of 5 games, but I've been saying if Lampard doesn't get a consistent form by the new year, I personally think he'll be sacked. If Chelsea are not in near the top 4 by Christmas, because as much as Abramovich has changed, the fact he didn't sack Maurizio Sarri last year after that terrible run of form says that. But the money's been spent, and if the team aren't playing anywhere near to their capacity, do you think Lampard is safe this season, or do you think that he is now in a situation where he could get sacked if he doesn't get the consistent form from what he's been starting to roughly get?
The thing about Frank Lampard's appointment is that it's very interesting because I've told a lot of people the club will never worst case, if Lampard, if he does leave, which I wouldn't be too happy about, but if he does leave, it's going to be by mutual consent, or the club would not, you're not going to see the headline, Frank Lampard was sacked by Chelsea, because the only way they're going to be able to solve that problem is to get in a John Terry or someone else as the manager, because the next manager that comes in after that is going to be under so much scrutiny, simply because Frank Lampard got sacked. Now, I don't think he's going to get sacked at all. And like I've said to people and so on, I don't know if you know Mediano Era. I don't know if you've heard of that person before, but basically someone I interacted on Twitter, and I've had him on my podcast before, and he brought up a really interesting point. He said that the appointment of Frank Lampard could have been, and like I said, people don't quote me on this. Like I said, I'm just throwing out opinions out there. Someone has said that they feel like Frank Lampard could have been brought in to build a squad for a better tactician to take over. Now, if Lampard goes out and starts winning Premier Leagues and more trophies, and starts winning trophies consistently, then the story changes. But I just don't think Lampard is going to be sacked irrespective of what happens this season. Like I said, for me, in my opinion, I'm going to be a lot stronger of my opinion December, January, February, because like I said, I'm giving them time to do some things. At the end of the day, this is the same Lampard that when the team won with 4-3-3, he swapped over to 4-3-3. If the team ends up losing, we could lose our next, game 6, and then he's going to convert back to 3-4-3. Then we could lose with that, go back to... So, we don't really know exactly what's going on at the moment. So I'm just going to give it a bit of time. But if we don't perform up to the specific... except his worst than Maurizio Sarri, I don't see that happening. And I don't even see the club getting to a point where we're going to lose or play as bad as that. I'm coming from... We have had some really boring matches this season. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I don't see Lampard getting sacked, at least... Not even at least this season. I just see him staying here for 3 years at minimum, and then we see what happens after. Maybe they're going to part ways, or if they're not performing well, but let's see as it goes.
The Lampard tactically has been improving, because Chelsea fans criticised Lampard's approach to Old Trafford when he played a back 3, he played deep, he wanted to hit the counter attack, but United, that is what United do, and we did what United do to big teams. We completely shocked Solskjaer. Solskjaer was not expecting Lampard to go to Old Trafford and park the bus. Let's be realistic. Lampard did park the bus in the second half. I think that is tactically smart from Lampard, because he was not going to give Rashford or Greenwood or Bruno or Pogba or Van de Beek any space to attack. We got an Ellie Straw, and that worked. You look at PSG. They lost to PSG. Yeah. So you bet PSG, they bet Leipzig 5-0. They were atrocious against Arsenal. We'll come on to that. So Lampard is smart. Is being smart tactically. We've seen his tactical performances. He did Klopp in the FA Cup. He did Mourinho last year. He he's done so. He has. I've done Solskjaer. We outplayed United every single time. We just couldn't defend to save our lives. So he's got the tactical knowledge. He's got the backroom staff, because Jody Morris is. Is a brilliant assistant to have. We're bringing a new coach who seems to sort out the defense. So Doug's loving it. This is his channel. He takes all the credit. So I think the potential is there with Lampard, and you could probably see him as especially with this team. You could probably see how good of a manager Lampard could be only in his 3rd season as a manager.
Oh, hold up! Yep. We have another guest.
I am finally here, guys. Thanks for having me on, Doug.
Hello, Nathan. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hope everyone's doing well as well. Been loving it so far. I've been watching for a few minutes, listening to some of your Chelsea combos.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Chris Welsh has actually asked a very good question, Dami and Josh. How far do you think Chelsea will go in the Champions League?
Well, first of all, we should get out of if we beat Rennes here, we should get out of our group comfortably.
If we don't get out of our group, I'm going to be livid because we should be getting out of that group. Like, I mean, look at with no disrespect to them, we've got Krasnodar. They sound like a Harry Potter spell. I didn't even know they existed. Then you've got Rennes. Okay, like I don't know who. Like, I mean, Rennes are a decent squad, and then we the last one, Sevilla. Like, we should be getting out of that group. So I'm not even thinking about. I'm not thinking of how far we go. I mean, I'm thinking quarterfinals. You know what I mean? I'd be satisfied with a quarterfinal appearance, honestly.
Yeah, Josh.
I can't disagree. Now, obviously in the Champions League, you can have the 5-sub rule, which I think benefits Chelsea a lot, especially when we get our fully fit team. We have a really good
and everything. Yeah,
we have really good squad depth in the midfield, and I think Daniel will agree with me. I've been saying this the whole time. One of the downsides of Chelsea's winger, one of the Chelsea transfer ones was the lack of wingers we have. Because if Pulisic goes down, Timo Fernandes has to play at the left. If only leaves us with Hudson-Odoi. Or Mason Mount has to play on the wings, and we know that Mason Mount on the left wing. No, that's a no, thank you. Kai Havertz played at right wing against Brighton, and they're playing right wing back. No, so if Chelsea get an issue wingers, you'll probably see the biggest diamond from Frank Lampard you'll ever see in your life. Just to put all the midfielders into one half. I think Chelsea. I'm going to call it now. Chelsea are going to go to the semi-finals of the Champions League.
Wow.
Chelsea turn up Chelsea under Frank Lampard always turn up in the big games. Wow. And to be honest, if we did not get Bayern Munich last year, we were going further in the Champions League. No one was stopping that Bayern Munich team. No one was stopping that Bayern Munich team. Wow. So we just took the front off it.
That is very, very bold. I will say that now. But then again, I suppose there is a certain Mr. Solskjaer who can do well in the Champions League, but can he do well in the Premier League? And we will come on to that. And actually, let's start with that. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the right man for Manchester United? Now, we have a very special guest, Nathan. He will obviously know from Solskjaer because he was Cardiff City manager.
He was indeed.
Is there a trend going here that Solskjaer's going the same way as he did at Cardiff City?
Yes, but it wasn't as bad as at Cardiff City, of course. Well, what can we say about that? I don't think he had like 1 or 2 good games and that's it. Whereas Man United, he's been up and down all over the place. But this season in particular, he just hasn't been defying the expectations that he should be. But yeah, apart from that, it's time for him. It's time for him to go.
Time for him to go.
It's time. Wow. He should have gone at the end of last season, in my opinion. That is anyway, especially after how we saw it. We had one bad season with him. We got relegated, considering we were 16th when he came in. And then start off the season well in the Championship. Got 2 wins and a draw. Huddersfield win was a great win. And then we just started losing about 3, 4, 5 games, slumped down the table. We knew that instantly this isn't going to work. He needs to go. Got rid of him, and it was probably one of the best decisions from the club last season.
So I've got a wee special story here for everyone about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So Doug, if you could put on my screen share there for a second.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
So I'm a Glenavon fan in Northern Ireland. Glenavon are a part-time football team who only train twice a week. We play in a very, I think, average football compared to the rest of the league. Now, we finished 3rd in the previous year to this, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Molde, he's a full-time outfit in Norway, who finished 2nd in that league, came to Mourneview Park, which is our home ground. And as you will know, the quality's not particularly great because of the BBC, but as you will see, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was here. As you can see, there's the man, the myth, the legend, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was at Mourneview Park this day when we played them. Now, as I said, we're a part-time team. We train twice a week. We're not particularly the greatest team to watch. Yet the final score is that he got tactically outdone. Glenavon bet them 2-1 on the night.
Wow.
So, and he got tactically outdone. And can I also just say, by the way, that's our manager there, Gary Hamilton. If you also have a look, who started that night for Molde, Haaland.
Oh my god!
So I was there that day. Haaland started for Molde that day with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as does it say there? It's somewhere. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the manager of Molde that day. He got tactically outdone by our manager Gary Hamilton, who last year lost 7-0, 8-2, 4-0, 4-0. Yet he outdone Solskjaer on the night. I'm not going to say anything about Solskjaer. And then it was literally 4 months after that game, Solskjaer got hired as the caretaker boss of Manchester United. So I can't say. I don't have to say any more than that. Solskjaer is not the man for Man United. He can get tactically outdone by anyone in the league. Even in League 2, he could be tactically outdone. He is not the manager for Manchester United.
Can I say something with regards to Solskjaer real quick? Because I do like to watch a bit of United. And I think the thing with Solskjaer is like when it comes to, if you watch United attacking, okay, he knows what he wants to do up the pitch. But when it comes to the midfield and like the back line, he knows that call. Like literally, he doesn't know exactly what he's doing. I know my issue right now with a lot of the clubs in the world football. You've got Chelsea, former player manager. You've got Arsenal, former player manager. You've got United, former player manager. You've got Barcelona. You've got all these different clubs getting in managers at periods when the clubs are sort of like on the decline, just so that you can. I don't know, because I don't know if you guys have seen the news now. You know the RP Leipzig manager Nagelsmann. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He wants to actually leave. He's going to leave the club at the end. So what I do think is probably going to happen is they're actually going to just maintain Solskjaer till the end of the season, and they could see him off. And we're going to get Nagelsmann at that United side, which is scary because that guy is a tactician.
Did any of you guys watch the game against Arsenal?
Which one? Yeah.
Solskjaer got that tactically. Is it just weird that Solskjaer just sit in his chair and look extremely clueless on what to do? He literally just sits there and he never is on the sideline. It's always Mike Phelan or his other assistant. He sits in his chair and looks clueless. And then why did he take Bruno Fernandes off? And how did Scott McTominay stay on for 90 minutes? McTominay was not excited.
No.
I don't know how.
No. Paul Pogba.
Oh no! How did Pogba and McTominay stay on? Why?
Left wing. Why?
Yeah.
Why play Paul Pogba left wing?
They've been trying to lock Paul Pogba for the last 6 years, isn't it?
Solskjaer doesn't know how to use Paul Pogba. He has no clue how to use Paul Pogba. There's a reason why the diamond's being played. Everyone said when Bruno Fernandes came in, Solskjaer was going to play the diamond to accommodate Paul Pogba. Ain't working.
Yeah.
Pogba does not want to be he doesn't want to be at United. He hates Solskjaer. I can see it turn into a Jose Mourinho Pogba point two. It's coming. It is coming.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry, Doug, but go on.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry to add that at the same time, but it's the delay in there. So, but I mean, we've seen it before with Solskjaer. He couldn't control Wilfried Zaha at Cardiff on the wing. Him and Craig Bellamy. You had the likes of Andreas Cornelius and Fraser Campbell. Well, you know, there's sort of track record in the Premier League, but if he can't control those three up front, I'd say that was pretty stable front three, then he's not cut out to be there at Man United.
Yeah, as you can see, we've been joined by Paul Morgan as well. How are you doing?
Yeah, hello, guys. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Yeah, Nathan.
And also, our other Welshman is here.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Quick comment. This is how you can
Busy in here.
Quick comment. This is how you can get together, talk, and do it safely.
True.
I think maybe Boris Johnson might need some encouragement in that aspect of things anyway. But yeah, I'm well. How is everyone?
Good.
Yeah, we're just
Thanks,
talking
Connor.
about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
you joined at the right time. So, Connor, let's hear. It's Solskjaer. Now, you missed my great story there. Basically, very quickly, Glenavon, who I support in Northern Ireland, part-time team. We train twice a week. We're non-league equivalent of what would be in the English league. Solskjaer's Molde came to Mornview Park, our home ground, in the Europa League qualifier and lost 2-1. And he had Haaland as his striker that day. Is he tactically great enough for Manchester United?
He's not good whatsoever, in my opinion. Look, at the end of the day, you guess, I feel like when Man United sacked Jose Mourinho, it was very limited amount of people that Manchester United could have gone for. And look, at the end of the day, they could have gone Ryan Giggs again, until the end of the season, like the whole meme. But look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the only guy there. Now, looking at things right now, looking at the players that he's bought over the last season and a half, looking at where they are right now, for me, Manchester United have not improved at all. Signings, yes, they have improved in the names of signings, but in terms of quality, in terms of financially, and that, they have not improved. You look at the likes of Chelsea. I know I was watching a little bit earlier on. You guys were on about Chelsea. Timo Werner, I said he was the signing of the summer until we got Thiago. A little bit of a plug there. Nah, I'm kidding. Look, Timo Werner, fantastic signing. Ziyech, fantastic signing. Arsenal, Thomas Partey, that's what they needed. Manchester United, they are just clueless. It's like playing footy manager and trying to build the best 11 you possibly can. And for Manchester United, it just cannot work like they're doing it.
I have two things to say. Right, I can't wait to see Danny's reaction to this. When El Neni, who is one of the most useless midfielders in the Premier League, and he was on loan last year, bosses the midfield against Manchester United at Old Trafford. El Neni, if he bosses the game at Old Trafford, you're done. you're just done. Would Lampard ever get outdone by El Neni? Nah, no chance. And then the second thing is, no offense, this is no disrespect to Cardiff, okay? I'm using you guys as an example here, but he is playing Cardiff City type football. It is the most basic thing to do, to put 11 men behind the ball and counter-attack with pace. It is extremely simple. If you park the bus against Man United, clearly they don't know how to break you down to save their lives. For having Rashford, Martial, Cavani, Greenwood, Bruno, Pogba, Van de Beek, and you can't even break a simple team down, get out.
I think in defence of when Ollie was at Cardiff as well, apparently, well, from above, we know we've got Vincent Tan as the owner there. Apparently, he was making a lot of decisions as well for who was going to be playing. I think there was a game against Aston Villa in the Premier League where we kept a clean sheet. I think it was 0-0. And then the next game, 3 of the defenders were dropped. And then I think we got battered. I can't remember. It was about 3 or 4-0 in the next game.
I think it was against Sunderland, which is just embarrassing enough.
It wasn't Sunderland. I think it might have been Hull. Were Hull in the Premier League then?
No, I think that was the year after.
Yeah, no, 13-14. Yeah, they were in the Premier League.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think it might have been Hull. And we got trounced because, we had to play, I think it was Juan Carlo, because he's Spanish and he came in. He was a new toy and everything. So they played him. So a little bit of defence there for Ollie, but... as you were saying before, at Man United, I think he hasn't got enough steel for in the dressing room. Whether the players respect him enough or not, I don't know. He's won everything with Man United as a player, but as a manager, has he got that toughness? Okay, he's done well at Mold.
I have a question. So it's for Damien, and I want Connor to answer it. All right, and then Doug. This is a really important question, because this is the difference between Frank Lampard and Solskjaer. Because we talked about Lampard's the big decision making at the start. Is he's scared to drop Paul Pogba to get media retention like Jose Mourinho did?
100%.
Hands down,
100%. Yes. He does not have a set of bollocks. Genuinely, he doesn't. He's one of I don't know. I've never seen someone look so confused and dumbfounded whenever they lose or win a football match. He's literally there. I was like, oh yeah, and then everything was perfectly fine. Nothing happened. I'm just like, what's going on? You don't know what's going on. You don't know how to manage your players. You don't know how to set up anything. I'm coming from. You've got some of the best attackers for their age in the world, and then you're out here playing Loft and Inshallah. What's wrong with you, Manchester United? He can't break down his opposition. He can't do anything. So at the end of the day, like you said, he's not. He lacks that steel. Do you know what I'm saying? He lacks.
I can't see him throw the tantrum at halftime in the change rooms. Teacups going everywhere. He's not going to get.
Pogba will tell him to shut up.
This is a guy who was a player in one of the best Manchester United teams under Sir Alex Ferguson too. You think he would have learned something? I'm probably the only one who watches this, but I remember when we played them in the FA Cup and there was this pitch side camera where you see the managers. You got Lampard shouting, "Come on, Tammy! Well done, Callum! well done, lads. Press. He goes Solskjaer. He was sitting up in the stand of Wembley with his wee iPad, just looking at the game. There's difference between the two managers. Connor, is Solskjaer scared of Paul Pogba because of media attention?
He probably stands in the corner in the dressing room and just lets the players have a talk by themselves. That's how he generally that's how I generally think of him. And
was it Carrick as well? I think is that his right hand man?
Mike Phelan.
Mike Phelan, yeah.
Well,
but it's like there's no viciousness with him. Like, I know everyone calls him the babyface assassin. Well, maybe he is just babyface as a manager. Just has no ruthlessness about him. And that you look at the top managers at the minute: Klopp, Guardiola, Mourinho. They would tell you. We've seen from the documentary with Tottenham. Him telling Dele Alli, that you are useless in training and you're lazy and things like this. And now you look at Tottenham and at that, and you think, well, Dele Alli can't get into the Tottenham team at the minute, and that's where I think he does lack. And I think, you are right. I think maybe it is the media attention, because you listened to him yesterday, and he was like, if it was the other way around, it was like if United had just won 1-0, nor they just lost 1-0. And United fans, I feel like they are at the minute so hung up on them getting the joy over PSG and Leipzig that they are truly forgetting you are 15th in the Premier League. This is Ollie a Cardiff situation. Like, not to bring up Cardiff again, sorry. But and people say, oh, don't judge him by his Cardiff days. At the end of the day, I believe he was like 9th at Cardiff after spending a little bit of money when you went down to the Championship. I don't know if I am right in that, but there was just no looking like if Cardiff were going to rebuild themselves, and that's the same with Man United. There's just nothing there.
You have to get in Russell Slade to sort out the mess.
Oh, and that was something else. We got a transfer embargo along with that as well.
No, I think Danny will remember when we had Maurizio Sarri, we never came out in the second half and played well. Like, we did not know how to play a second half of football, and I think there was rumours that Sarri actually left Stamford Bridge or wherever he was to take a smoke, and didn't even bother speaking to the players. It was Grant Sola who did the team talk. But I also think it's because Sarri's English was really, really bad.
Yeah.
Sarri's English was not very good at all. And I've considered. I think you'll remember the game against Sofia Prague at the Bridge when we dominated. We absolutely did. We're so good in the first half, and the second half, Sofia Prague came out and gave us a heart attack, and we nearly ended up choking that game. If you remember it. Against Sofia Prague in Europa League, we were 3-0 up, and then the game ended 4-3 because Chelsea forgot how to play in the second half.
I don't remember that too vividly, no.
Well, look, but it's a prime example that I think Solskjaer does not do team talk, because United never look better in the second half. Anyway, what do you think, Doug?
Honestly, I don't think he knows how to get the best out of Paul Pogba. I've been saying this for a wee while. I do not think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how to work Paul Pogba. And I actually feel sorry for Donny van de Beek, because what does he have to do to get in this team? I mean, you look at the team yesterday. Fred was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. McTominay, I have no idea why Solskjaer did not substitute McTominay, because McTominay was absolutely awful. But
Pogba stays on the pitch as well, doesn't he?
Pogba was absolutely dreadful as well. I mean, whoever thought of playing Paul Pogba as a left winger to start with is ridiculous.
Well, that's Gary Neville for you.
And that was exactly. And that was the reason. That was the reason why the penalty was he gave away the penalty. And that's not the first time Paul Pogba's done that. Like, Connor, you'll remember a couple of seasons ago, he actually gave away a penalty when he tried to catch the ball.
Well,
that was unbelievable.
I remember one game against Liverpool, and I think he fouls Jordan Henderson, and obviously Pogba, obviously with the dab brought into like the whole world, and he actually did a dab trying to tackle Jordan Henderson, which I think we took the mick out of for like a week. But one question I want to ask you guys in particular: do you think, like obviously with a world-class player, he can walk into any team, even if they're crap, and make the team better than like kind of like Phil Coutinho with us, like Gareth Bale with Tottenham years ago, and that. do you think Paul Pogba can only play with good players? Like, everyone keeps on referring him to, the France national team, and they go, "Oh, he's a World Cup winner." Yes, but you have Mbappe, Kante, and others, and Juventus. He had Pirlo. I think other players like that.
Yeah.
So, is he true? Is he world class, or is he just really overhyped?
Here's my controversial opinion. He cannot play in the Premier League. The Premier League's too fast-paced for him.
I disagree with that. Respectfully disagree. Simply because the thing about Paul Pogba is when you look at his career and how he progressed, when he played really well at Juventus, what was the trend? He played with Arturo Vidal. Arturo Vidal is a very tenacious and hard-working midfielder, and he's able to do all the dirty work that Paul Pogba doesn't want to do. When Paul Pogba plays with France, he plays with N'Golo Kante. He basically does the same thing, but a lot better. I look at Manchester United. He doesn't have that player at the side of him that can actually get stuff done. I'm not using that as an excuse for Pogba because, honestly, when Paul Pogba turns up, which is extremely rare, he can be one of the best midfielders on the planet because his passing is supreme, his shooting is excellent, his vision is spectacular, but that's when he's on his game. But at the end of the day, when you've got managers like Jose Mourinho trying to convert them into these strong, bulky, you can't get Paul Pogba to do that. So I feel like at Manchester United, the team has never actually been set up in a way that would be convenient for Pogba to do what he does best. And when you talk about Van de Beek as well, at the end of the day, I think that was a forced signing on Ole. I don't think that's what he wanted. I think that was forced on him, and I think that's why they've not seen him play. But I mean, I'm a Chelsea fan, so that's not my business. You can say that for as long as he wants, but like I said, when it comes to Paul Pogba, that's just what I think personally, Josh. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that.
The reason why I say
I'm
go ahead,
I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna ask you all this. I'm gonna go around each and every one of you. How long does Solskjaer have at Manchester United? Nathan and Paul, I'll come to you both first. How long does Solskjaer have at Manchester United?
Until midnight tonight. Only joking. I'm going to say probably just before January. That's only if the performances don't pick up and they're outside, I'd say, the top 6. He's going to get sacked. They're probably going to... I reckon I'm going to go out on a whim and say this one. I think they're going to get Eddie Howe in. I don't think they're going to go for anyone from abroad. They'll bring Eddie Howe in from his experience with Bournemouth. I don't think they'll get Tindalin or whatever. They'll keep Mike Phelan as the assistant. He's going to work through He's going to get one transfer window, and I can see him going up the leagues. That's just my thoughts on it anyway. I doubt they're going to get Allegri or anyone from abroad. I just don't think Man United will be a big enough pull for him. So I can see him getting Eddie Howe in, doing an all right transfer window, and then probably getting just into the top 6.
Interesting. Paul, what do you think about that?
I would say probably December. I'm just looking at their next fixtures. So you've got Everton away, West Brom at home, Southampton away, West Ham away, and then Man City at home on the 12th of December. So I don't know what you're looking at. If they don't get a couple of wins in there, if they suffer, say, 3 or 4 defeats, he could be gone by then. It depends. Are they going to pull the trigger? It could be in the next couple of weeks.
Question is, who would you get in to replace him, though?
Well, that's for the Manchester United board to decide, isn't it? So
yeah.
I'd be looking at these next 3 games. If you don't get a win in those next 3 games, then possibly he'd be out the door. But is it a long-term project with Man United and stuff? They brought him in, but they've gone backwards. Last year, what was it? They finished 3rd, I think, in the league. Down in 17th. Okay, it's only 6 games, 7 games gone. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lose the next 3 and bye-bye, I think.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I'll come to Connor because I can see.
I'm glad. I expect if the fans were there, they'd let that. If they were losing, I think they've lost all their matches at home so far this season.
Have a one in the last 4.
There is in no, and they would let him know.
Yeah, I can see Connor is wanting to really, really smile and smirk about this. How long do you think he has got at Manchester United?
Do you really blame me?
I expect Connor being a Liverpool fan, give him the whole of the season, isn't it?
Give him
avoid relegation.
Give him a 10-year contract as far as I'm standing.
Back your manager, back into the end. You know what I'm saying? Oh my days.
But no, I honestly think if he loses to Everton next week and it's another poor performance, I'm gonna say 8 o'clock Saturday night.
Can we just make a quick comment? He has to go away to Espanyol, which is one hell of a tough place to go. There is potential he could lose, even if he doesn't win that game. We have to look at that.
Well, the thing is, it's like how I know that the guy said long-term project. With Man United, long-term project and Manchester United haven't gone well together over the last couple of years, and realistically, give Ollie a lifetime contract, absolutely. But it's like, I think if they lose against Everton, then I think that will be the final straw for Ollie. And then coming in, I agree with the lads saying it won't be a big foreign name, but I think it'll be a big name in Maurizio Pochettino. I think that is the guy. Yeah, I think that is the guy that they have clearly singled out, and they've clearly, well, as reports have said anyway, they've clearly made contact with him about it. Apparently he's on Monday Night Football tonight, so that'll be interesting to watch back. And maybe they might ask him about Manchester United. But yeah, I think that is the road. But to be honest with you, I don't think whoever comes in, I don't think Manchester United will be good for the next 5-10 years because of what's going on upstairs. And that's not me being a biased Liverpool fan, but like I genuinely think Man United is so much in trouble off the field that on the field, it's making it worse, in my opinion.
Spot on. You're spot on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sing, Chris, but I can see from that one. I think we could all chant that, to be honest with you.
You'll be singing that in the shower in the morning, Doug. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Josh, how long do you think he's got?
Well, I'm going to ask Damien. So, when we had that tough period under Maurizio Sarri, we got smacked at the Etihad. We didn't look like we could score a goal to save our life because he was picking the wrong midfield. True, I think you'll remember the good old Tammy for the Morata for Giroud, subterraneous, Ross Barkley for Kovacic, Willian for Pedro. He wasn't playing Hudson-Odoi. So, we've been in a similar situation with a manager where you just know he's doing nothing right to save his job and it's all going wrong. But obviously he was given a board and time to turn it around. But I think Solskjaer will last until January. I think he'll get out of the Champions League group, which will keep his job. I think that will keep his job for longer. I think he will win games there and then. Like, it always seems like when his job is really on the line, he turns into a master tactician. And then when his job seems safe, he goes right back downhill again. I don't know what it is about Solskjaer and that, but that just seems to be the way it is. I think he'll get until January. I feel like the Christmas period when he gets really tested, like, he doesn't rest players. Maguire, how many games did Maguire play last season? I think he only missed 3 games or something. Maguire was running to the door. Bruno Fernandes is going to be running to the ground. He doesn't know his best thing. So in that
games, I think last season, he played.
He doesn't have his fault. Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw couldn't attack to save their lives. Marcus Alonso is a better left back than Luke Shaw, and I think that says something within itself. Marcus Alonso is probably the worst left back I think I've ever seen in my life.
Shocking.
Adami, you like Marcus Alonso? As a left back.
Oh God! He runs like he's wearing boot cut jeans and Timberland boots. Like literally, I've never seen something as atrocious as Marcus Alonso bombing down the flanks. Literally, he's so he's so annoying. Like I've never seen something so bad. Like no. He's not good. He's not a footballer, honestly.
So that just sums it up. That Marcus Alonso is better than Luke Shaw. Wan-Bissaka is a great defender, but can he watching Wan-Bissaka run with the ball? It's like
Do you know why I like Wan-Bissaka? Do you know why I like him? Because he plays like he doesn't know what he's going to do next because he doesn't know what he's going to do next, which makes him completely unpredictable. Like that's what he is.
Yeah.
So like, goddamn.
Like, well, sum up a Marcus Alonso cross for us.
Pardon?
Sum up a Marcus Alonso cross into the box.
I mean, you'd be lucky not to get hit, basically, if you understand. That's the what Marcus Alonso is like. So, like,
Wan-Bissaka is worse than that. So he doesn't have the fullbacks. he doesn't know his best midfield. Like I don't know how McTominay's playing. I don't know. I just don't know. He took off Bruno, which makes you just like which just makes you think. Like, how is he taking off Bruno? How is he taking off Bruno Fernandes? You know, how is Van de Beek sitting on the bench? Like, I don't even think Solskjaer wanted Van de Beek. I think he's disowned him the second he walked into Old Trafford. Solskjaer is digging his own grave, and he'll be gone by January. I think the Christmas period will be the end of him.
Oh, Pete Shepherd has just summed this up very, very well, I think. How about putting some blame on the board? When you pay 80 million from Harry Maguire, that says all that needs to be said. Absolutely.
It does indeed.
Listen, there's a whole bigger picture about the Glazers and Edward. They have ruined the club into the hole. Hiring David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not backing Jose Mourinho when he needed it. There is a reason. They are the reason why the board. He is the reason.
Don't disrespect Alberto Moreno.
He is the reason.
Don't disrespect Alberto Moreno.
They are the reason why Manchester United already are. But the facts are extremely simple. Chelsea couldn't buy anyone last year. Lampard got Chelsea into the top 4 with a mediocre squad and an absolutely non-existent back 5. Solskjaer's got a 10 times better squad and only finished 1 point above Frank Lampard. You can talk about upstairs all you want, but Solskjaer has a job to get that team on the pitch playing as well as they can. Lampard had zero spent on that squad last year, and they played fantastically. Solskjaer's team was playing free ball. That you can talk about upstairs all you want, but it's up to the manager on the pitch to get a team playing. Solskjaer cannot do that. Pochettino will do that if he is hard.
Can I just say that?
Look who's arrived.
Oh God! Can I just say something though, in the fact that we talk about Manchester United getting 3rd place and that, and yes, it was a good achievement, but can we realistically say that if Leicester hadn't have had their downfall then in 2020, Manchester United wouldn't even be talked about.
Or to add to that, Spurs never had an absolutely injury crisis where they lost all their attacking players.
They were very lucky last year in having Bruno Fernandes come in and change their team, because I think if Bruno Fernandes wasn't there last season, then they would have finished 6th, 7th. That's how realistic it is. And it's like what you guys have said. Bruno Fernandes he's getting outburned already, and we're only 6 games into the season.
Yeah, it feels like I don't know. I mean, we could discuss Solskjaer all night, but we do have more topics to talk about. I'll put this into like a joint one, because honeymoon period is over for Aston Villa. Another defeat at the weekend, and Spurs very, very inconsistent. It has to be said, because they go to Royal Antwerp and lose 1-0, and then they beat Brighton by 2-1, and they have to wait on a Gareth Bale goal. So, coming to Aston Villa, Nathan, are we now seeing the Aston Villa of last season, do you think?
Possibly, but then again, they have had time to gel, and looking at some of their performances, they have been playing spectacular. Beyond my expectations and beyond everyone. And I just think they will have a rough patch around now, start to lose games here and there. They might have another one at Christmas, but then after Christmas, I reckon they'll be straight back to it. And I think we're definitely going to see a top 10 finish for Aston Villa.
Interesting. Paul, what do you think
injuries.
About Aston Villa?
No, I think you predicted that in your predictions video, didn't you, Nathan? A top half finish.
Yeah, I said that they wouldn't get relegated. I thought they'd have a pretty all right season, but they're going beyond my expectations. I actually think they're going to take it above the top 10 now.
Yeah, I think you usually see this at the beginning of the season with a lot of stuff, though, don't you? Somebody racing away with it. You've seen it in the past, but I said tip them to go down, but bringing in Ross Barkley, I think he's looking really good at the moment. Grealish on another level, whether he'll be picked up in January, I don't know. If they, continue to lose games. They've got Arsenal on Saturday. That'll be an interesting game. Yeah. I'd like to see Partey up against Grealish and Barkley. That's going to be a good battle in the middle of the park. no, I think they're going to drop off now. It's early season form. Ollie Watkins, okay, he's got 4 goals. That was a hat-trick in that Liverpool match and penalty on the weekend. I think he needs help up there. No, I think that, honeymoon periods for me, over.
Yeah, and I suppose we should talk about Spurs. I mean, Connor, I messaged you the other night. Like, you were absolutely shocked when I messaged you that Tottenham had lost to Royal Antwerp and basically almost sort of played a full strength side. What's going on at Spurs? Because like they seem to be very good going forward, but at the back they're an absolute shambles.
It's weird, isn't it, with Tottenham, and it is that inconsistency thing. But I think Mourinho, he's still trying to find what is his best defense after, especially trying to, because obviously he signed who was the fella from Wolves? Doherty, was it?
Doherty, yeah.
Doherty, yeah. So I think he's been rotating him with Serge Aurier left side. They've had Sergio Reguilon and Ben Davis as well. They've been trying to figure that out as well. But I think the major thing that Tottenham have that's kind of an unreliable thing is the fact that their best 2 is playing week in, week out, and that is Alderweireld and Sanchez. And I think that with every single other club in like the big top 6 anyway, there's rotation there in some respect, and I think that they're just playing them week in, week out. But I think that was just another freak result in a freak season with the Europa League. But in terms of the Brighton game, there was a few controversial talks that I think we will talk about. It's not very. Maybe Harry Kane got a bit lucky with that. Let's just say that for sure.
Yeah, adding on to what Con said. Sorry, Doug, but just reading Ballum guy's comment now. I just remembered they signed Joe Rodon from Swansea, Welsh international, of course. Great centre back, phenomenal in the Championship, and he's been improving for Wales now. So Jose Mourinho is starting to get that rotation in at the back. But the question is it strong enough, and can they keep it consistent?
I just need to interrupt. Unfortunately, Dami needs to leave us. He has further things to succeed in his life. We want to say a big thank you for coming on. As I said, Dami, you're up there in the Chelsea football Twitter. We're slowly getting there. So you've came on and you've shedding us with a great line. I'm sure plenty of people have been laughing, and I'll be keeping in touch with you over the next couple of weeks. And if you're more than welcome to come back on again.
Thank you
in a few weeks if you wish. So, enjoy the rest of your day. And again, on behalf of all of us here, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. I really did enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danny.
Up the Chelsea.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay, see you later. Thank you very much to Dami, and go and check SW6 podcast. That is in the description down below. But Harry Kane penalty is absolutely ridiculous. He literally waits for Adam Lallana contact. Now, there's no for me, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yes, you can say that it's on the line, and it's the same as the Liverpool Sheffield United penalty. That was a penalty because it was on the line. But let's be honest, that was absolutely ridiculous decision because he literally waits. He basically looks at Adam Lallana.
He does. He looks, doesn't he?
He looks at him and just waits for the contact. It's absolutely ludicrous.
But if you listen to TalkSport, it's smart play. It's not looking for a penalty. It's not like.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
But at the end of the day, whose fault is that? Is it the referees for giving the foul in the first place, or is it VAR to overturn it because of Harry Kane switching and looking at it? It's again another conversation about VAR that we're talking about yet again.
Time to be that boring guy. As a referee, the interpretation of the Harry Kane penalty is that far. It was deemed by the VAR officials that it was not a penalty, but there was not enough evidence to overturn the decision, meaning the on-field decision remained.
Get rid of VAR.
No. Yeah. The only reason I say that is because after what happened to us with Cardiff in the Premier League, and some of the decisions that went against us, against Chelsea and all.
Not Azpilicueta goal when he was miles offside. I got you relegated. I remember clearly. I remember that so clearly.
And when what's his name, Rudiger, should have got sent off for that challenge on Zaha. So many of them as well. Had against Burnley with Gunnarsson, who should have had a pen. The list goes on and on.
Yeah,
had it so much, and that just goes to show how much VAR or referee scrutiny is needed in the Premier League. I mean, VAR, I'm up and down about it, but there needs to be some reform there to make it fair and to make it much better than it should be. But it is needed for that reason as well.
And you'll remember, Nathan, actually at the end of your vlog, because you and Paul go home and away. Well, you go mostly home to Cardiff City games, but you will remember that I actually sent you that photo of Azpilicueta offside, and you went mental.
Oh yes, because we didn't actually realise
the ground, weren't we? So we didn't know what was going on at the time. So
yeah, because all we saw was Warnock and the likes of Kevin Blackwell, Andy Dibble, the lot on the sideline, just going absolutely mental at the fourth official. Canton, Stan, Ninian, no one has an idea of what was going on. The lot in, because there's a few at the other ends of the Ninian who were going ballistic as well. Everyone was confused around us. But then when we saw it, we absolutely lost it, especially after the Rudiger incident at the end as well.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, Connor, do you think? I asked this question last week, and we were adamant that the referees in England are not the best at working VAR. What do you think about that?
Useless. I think Reese has put a brilliant comment in the comment section saying the officials working at Stanley Park, I don't know what they're doing, and I agree with that fully. You look at VAR. I agree with Nathan in the sense that VAR, it is good, but the way it is at the moment, it isn't, and it isn't good. And at the end of the day, like, you look at VAR out in general referees, you look at them out in Germany, you look at them out even in France, Spain, there's less controversial talks, even in the Champions League and Europa League, there's less controversial stuff because VAR is used in a different style to the Premier League. But for some reason, the Premier League just doesn't want to, follow that way of things. And I kind of thought about this, about Premier League referees. You think about it, 10 years ago, an English referee refereed the World Cup final. Like, how many can we say? Yeah. Like, how many English or Premier League referees can we say will realistically go to the Euros this year, or would have gone to the Euros? Yeah, exactly, none. So
I'm calling it now. Sorry, Con, but we have by far the worst officials in Europe. I say it many times on my streams, many times on my vlogs. By far the worst officials in Europe. Just keeps getting worse ever since Howard Webb, Clattenburg, them lot left, and we're left with people like Craig Pawson ruining teams, getting them relegated all over the place.
We're the only the Premier League's the only league in Europe that does the millimeter offside as well.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
No,
Jesus.
Could someone? I'm an official myself, but could someone tell me? How was that offside goal for Aston Villa? Like, what was visually offside? And even the Liverpool one against the Mane, was it Mane against Everton?
Mane.
I don't understand. Here's my question to you. Here's my genuine question to you. How does the VAR official say that it's not a penalty against Harry Kane, but it's still given because not enough evidence? Yet the offside said there is barely any evidence, they still overturn it. No consistency. It's annoying as hell.
But it's been proven that they bend the lines to make them look straight. They're not at a specific 90-degree angle. I think was it Liverpool versus Villa last year, Doug, when Firmino's armpit was offside and it got proven it was 93 or 94 degrees.
It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
that was why he was offside.
You look at the Champions. You look at the Champions League when was it Man United versus Leipzig when they used the daylight rule, and everyone said in the Premier League that's offside. In the Champions League it's not, and I think realistically the Premier League they have to go to that style in daylight.
Here's so in the NFL, when a referee gives a decision, they speak on the mic and rule and say exactly what it is. Should the Premier League officials should you be able to hear the conversation between the referee and between the video assistant referee at Stagny Park?
Yes.
Hands down. Because I remember last season with, I think it was Ancelotti. Ancelotti was asking the reason why the referee gave a particular decision. Referee was having none of it, and he was like begging him for an answer, and he straight up sends him off, which is I thought it was absolutely crazy.
That was against West Brom. Yeah,
it was. I completely remember it. But I'd like to add something in as well, which I've just seen something online, which I think is absolutely astonishing, and we're all forgetting the main principle of what the offside rule is. I'll just share my screen a second, guys.
Sure,
that's the right one. Here is the offside rule. We've seen it with the. The law states that a player is in an offside position if any part of their body, except their hands and arms, as we saw with Sadio Mane last week, are in the opponent's half of the pitch and close to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent. So, according to the official offside rule, Mane was not offside.
I think it was his armpits, though, wasn't it? Wasn't it his armpit, they said?
No, it's his arm.
It was his arm. Yeah, it was indeed. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Stop sharing. There we go.
Inception.
That is ridiculous.
But no.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul. What have you made of VAR?
Yeah, it's got to be reformed, really. We've got to have something there to help the referees. It's such a difficult job for them. We know the game is so fast these days. Just keeping up with the play. Okay, you've got the linesmen there. They're not actually called linesmen anymore. Referees' assistants. What do? They don't. They're up in. They're supposed to help the referees. They don't. They're there to just throw-ins and offsides, but they don't make that call. I think they're too scared to make that call. We've got to have some sort of reform on it because it's not working at the moment. It's ridiculous. I think the offside law, maybe it should be if you're in line, then you're not offside. We want to see more goals. We want to see goals.
To that point, VAR was not brought in to change the law of the game. VAR was in to cut out clear and obvious mistakes. You should not change the law. Like, none of these rules, including handball, should have been changed because of VAR. It should have been VAR, a very clear and obvious penalty or handball or something like that. Is what VAR should be used for. VAR should not be used to dictate the game and basically make the referee on the pitch irrelevant. It should be there to cut out idiotic mistakes that get teams like Cardiff relegated. That's why VAR should be here. The problem of VAR is not VAR, it is the idiots that run it. And that is what needs to change. It needs to be changed in the fact that it is there to cut out idiotic mistakes that human beings make. It should not be there to dictate the game and make the referee on the pitch pretty much absolutely irrelevant.
Exactly. It goes to show in itself. They even have a program on Sky Sports News called Ref Watch where they straight up scrutinize the referees. That should not be happening in professional sport, full stop. We don't have it in America. You don't have it in any other leagues in the world. But in this country, we somehow have to have a literal show showing all of the refereeing mistakes from that week. It is disgraceful.
They're under the microscope. They don't need to be under the microscope.
Doug, put that comment back up again for the recent one there.
Which one? The handball rule?
No, one from Liz. Right, to put your comment here, the decision for the assistant referees to keep their flags down during a play, if they're unsure if it's offside, is correct, because there has been millions of times where an assistant referee has put his flag up when the decision was offside. The second the official puts his flag up, the play is called off. Unless it's a goal, and then they can't review it because that's the way VAR works. So that decision is correct because it means the play can continue on. They know, the defenders know, so it's a fair decision. And then if it is not offside, then the decision can be overturned correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on. Now, as we have Paul and Nathan here, both Cardiff City season ticket holders. Let's just say I won't mention Saturday because that was a really, really sore one to take. My question to you both is, what are your realistic expectations for this season?
Do you want to start that, or should I start?
Well, before the season started, we ended last season quite well. Playoffs. Okay, we got, I think, the first leg of the playoff against Fulham, we lost. Look, totally out of it, and then we went to Fulham and did really well. ultimately, though we didn't reach the final. So expectations went high. Brought in Kiefer Moore, Welsh international. So, expectations keeping high again. And we brought in Harry Wilson recently, who looks on a different level, definitely Premier League quality.
And of course, Shea Ojo as well. And also
Tutu. To a lower extent. But before the season, we were looking at playoffs at least. However, it hasn't gone to plan. We've started off the season really sluggish. And each game as well, we seem to start very slowly in every game. And until the opposition score, then we sort of seem to come out of our shells and give the opposition a good game, as it was on Saturday, 2-0 down, come back to 2-2, and then, the QPR scored a worldie in the end to take all 3 points. And it's been pretty much like that most of the season. Okay, our away form has been great. Home form has been dire this year. So I think we're currently in something like 17th position. Is that right?
Yeah, worst start to the season since 04-05. We're in 18th.
Yeah, 17th position.
Terrible.
It is early days. But we've got a game tomorrow evening. We've got a game Friday. We've got to pick up at least 3-4 points in that, really,
minimum,
to keep even on the tailcoats of the playoffs, really. But we've got to back up our ideas. It's I know we got a lot of players, being bedded in. Wilson's currently out. Tomlin, who was a talisman last year, he hasn't really featured much. He came on the weekend, but he's already been sent off. He had another petulant card on the weekend as well. So it's at the moment a stuttering start, but Paris has got to sort it out. So
I'm not going to lie, I don't follow the Championship overly much, and I don't know a lot about Cardiff, but one thing I do know is obviously when you had, you were in the year you were in the Premier League, I think you were unlucky to go down. I feel like Neil Warnock, especially towards the end of the season, had you guys playing. I think it was safe to say your football under Neil Warnock was quite ugly and probably hard to watch at times, but he got you the results, and he obviously got you into the Premier League, and he just about kept you down. I think it was simply maybe you're just missing that individual brilliance to keep you up that relegated teams need. But I have to say, I think Neil Harris is not a manager at all. I think he's an atrocious. I think he's an atrocious manager. I don't rate him at all.
He's going through a bit of a transition period. When he came in, there was a lot of discontent amongst the fans, saying, "Oh, he's not the guy for Cardiff," and everything. But he sort of turned a lot of Cardiff fans around. But I think a lot of City fans are a little bit fickle as well, because it's been a few bad results, and they're already calling for his head. And
lots of negativity at the moment.
A lot of negativity. It is still early in the season. Okay, 9 games in, 2 wins, 4 draws, and 3 defeats. But style of play, it's going through a bit of a transition at the moment. We've got a ball playing centre back who hasn't started yet because the defence has been fairly solid so far.
He can't even get on the bench. That's the problem, Benkovic.
No,
I think he should be working his way in, maybe being replaced by Nelson.
Yeah, possibly. Nelson's been really good this season, but yeah, something's got to change. So.
I see the day we played you that game in the Premier League at the Cardiff City team. You guys went 2-0 up or 1-0 up or something, didn't you? So you were playing us off the park, and at this time sorry, this game dropped Kante and Hazard. He rested them. They were on the bench that game, and I remember specifically the Chelsea fans started singing, "We want Sarri out" and "Fuck Sarri ball." And then next minute I think you guys were probably smiling at that point because you're like, "Haha, the Chelsea fans are calling for Sarri out."
Yeah, that was from the start.
we were all chanting, "We want Sarri in" for the whole thing.
Because obviously, because watching the West Street vlog, they were singing "Fuck Sarri ball" and stuff. And then obviously Chelsea, I think, did not deserve to win that game and were unbelievably, incredibly lucky. Like William blocked the through of the assistant referee for the offside. That's how it was given. And obviously you went down. But if you do come back up in the Premier League, or if you get us in the FA Cup, is there a bit of a bittersweetness there to get revenge on us for what happened that game?
I wouldn't say that, because it's always been a sticky fixture since the 2010s as well. Leading on from that, we've had our problems off the pitch with the 2 sets of fans. So there's always been that stickiness there. But I think it's been increased a bit. But I don't think it's going to be like the levels that we've seen from sides that we played, like Reading, Bristol City, in particular Reading from last season, and the Jacks as well. I don't think it'll be to that level at all.
No, I think that was it. The FA Cup 2010 was a bit of a watershed moment anyway in football hooliganism, you could say. Yeah, it all kicked off in London, and there were so many arrests being made, stupid arrests, people losing their jobs, being thrown in jail for nothing, really. And
I think he's frozen
on that level.
Oh, there we go.
So, but we're still there. We're still there. But as a rivalry, yeah, in the past through the 1980s, there was a massive rivalry with Chelsea, but it seems to have waned down really.
I know that you guys said about negativity around Cardiff at the minute and with the league position. When you look, of course, everyone from Wales knows the rivalry between Cardiff and Swansea. When you look at Swansea, of course, this season, second currently in the league, and you look at them last season as well and looking pretty good last year as well. Do you think that, that is what's fueling, the negativity at Cardiff, and, how Swansea are doing so good, and, Cardiff are, around mid-table and looking a bit, a bit crap at times in games and that? Or do you think that will encourage you guys to, with the history between the two clubs, to, fight one another up the top of the championship?
I'd say it's about half and half. It's sort of fueling it, but at the same time, it's not, because some people are just really not happy, because most of us Cardiff fans know that they're going to bottle it around Christmas like they did last year, and then start to get worse and worse as it goes on, which like they did last season. They dropped out the top half and then they sort of got it back. But I think that's what's fueling it, because there was a lot of negativity around Harris last season as well. But yeah, it's in the middle, really.
I don't think it's really Swansea being at the top of They can't believe they're at the top of the table, or second in the table at the moment. Pre-season, there was problems with their owners, the manager as well. I was talking of walking out and everything, and they had to get rid of a lot of players. So I don't think it's that. I think it's the expectation that Cardiff in for possibly top two or playoffs, and coupled with that, it's the whole atmosphere around that. We can't go out. We've been in lockdown last couple of weeks. I think that's got a massive part to play. We can't go to the stadium. I think we'd have picked up quite a few points at home, because we haven't won at home yet, have we, Nathan? This season,
not this season.
With the fans there, we'd have picked up a lot more points. So I think there's a lot of pieces to the jigsaw, really, not just Swansea being up there. It doesn't help. We've got Bristol City this Friday, another derby. So if we get something in that match, or if we win that, I think, I think it comes down to results, like anything, really. If you're getting results, everyone's happy. Well, pretty much most people are happy. But with it, Swansea, but then, no, I think they will drop off, hopefully. They should do.
Do not adjust your TV.
A little bit of discontent at the moment. So.
But Fulham have won a game of football.
What? Against West Brom. Against West Brom, though.
Jesus
Against
Christ.
West Brom.
West Brom.
West Brom are done. West Brom are going down. Bye. Also, no, can we just say also, like, this is even bigger. They kept a clean sheet in the Premier League. That's
wow.
even. That's. Can I just say that's the? No. Can I just say I just read the stat here. That's their second clean sheet. Okay, in 42 Premier League games.
I think I know what the last one was as well. They kept a clean sheet.
Cardiff at home.
Cardiff at home. Yeah.
Oh,
I think that was nil each. I think, or a 1-0 win for Fulham.
No, it was a 1-0 win for Fulham. Yeah, Ryan Babel scoring a worldie.
Yeah, a question from Chris Welsh for you both, Nathan and Paul. How do you think Wilson and Ojo will do at Cardiff, as they are on loan from Liverpool?
Ojo was not good at Rangers. He was terrible at Rangers, but it could be different with Cardiff.
I'd say at the start he struggled to sort of get in. Loads of the fans were like, "Is this the guy for it? He needs to be dropped and everything." But now he's had his games against Preston. He played last week. He's starting to improve, get loads of crosses in, really get involved in the game. As with Wilson, he's only had like 1, maybe 2 games to impress so far. 2 games because of his injury issues off the pitch. So I think it will take him time to gel a little bit and to work back into the team. But I think they're going to be really valuable signings for us this season, especially in particular Ojo as well.
Yeah, I think Wilson, from my point of view, Nathan.
Musical statues.
Gone again there. I'm not sure what the connection's like here. I think he's out for about 3 or 4 weeks now, which isn't great. But as I said earlier, he's a class above everyone else's touch and everything, Premiership quality. Ojo remains to be seen, sort of in and out of games at the moment. He scored a couple of goals. He's got pace there, but he's still young. No, is he still young or is he 24, 25?
Ojo, he's 23, I think.
Yeah, 20 to 23.
Jury's still out on him. He's in and out of games, really. So,
to answer Liz's question, the only Fulham fan I know is what's his name? The pointless dude, Richard Osman. He's a Fulham fan, but he wouldn't reply to my tweet anyway. And the other one is Neil Dudgeon, who plays Detective Chief Inspector Barnaby in Midsummer Murders. He's a Fulham fan as well. So again, I don't think that, but yeah, that is amazing. We have to move on and talk about
Grant as well, Doug. I think Hugh Grant's a Fulham fan.
Is Hugh Grant a Fulham fan?
I think so, yeah.
You can tell, interesting. We have to move on because, again, it has to be said, Barcelona are struggling. 1-1 draw at the weekend. I mean, Connor,
can we just quickly, because I don't know how we didn't mention this, put this on our topics. That was my fault for listening to topics. Remember, Bertomeu has officially resigned. He is no longer Barcelona president.
Yes.
He is obviously on our first ever podcast. We talked about the crisis. He is now officially gone. So, I say that was because of us. We raised awareness. Hashtag the World of Football podcast.
Connor, I'll come to you first for this one. Koeman, is he running out of time?
I think he's been running out of time ever since he signed for Barcelona. That's been the unfortunate thing for him because of obviously the stuff with the presidency and things like this. I think the guy that was obviously fighting for the presidency said that I'm going after Xavi if I come in. And when I come in, I'm going after him. Pep Guardiola has been mentioned at Barcelona as well over the last week.
I believe that's been already ruled out.
Yeah, it has been ruled out apparently. But as we know from Barcelona change their minds every single day rather than sticking to their guts and that. But look, I think we talked about it. For a good hour, I think it was in the first podcast. Barcelona are a mess, and everyone talks about how it's such a dream to go to the places like Real Madrid and Barcelona. At the minute, the only Spanish team you would like to go to is Real Madrid because they look they look the more stable out of the two, and I think that overall Barcelona, you hear of top European names falling down the ranks and that they won't get down to Europa League or anything like this, but I personally reckon that Barcelona are not going to win a Champions League for a very long time, and I think they won't win. I say they won't win a La Liga. To be fair, there's only 3 teams in it, so it's like Russian roulette with them 3. To be fair, but at the end of the day, Koeman he'll be gone at the end of the season, and then it'll just be who they get. Then I think personally they'll get Xavi, as they've kept on about for 12 months, but. Either way, they're going to have to probably find a solution to Lionel Messi if he doesn't sign that new contract.
Yeah, Nathan, what do you make about Koeman at Barcelona? How do you think he's running out of time?
I don't think so, really. I think he'll be until the end of the season. At the start, I really thought he was a panic signing, and I really thought that he's not going to last. But when looking at everything that's going on with Barcelona, up in the boards and everything, with them wasting money all the time. I mean, you've had it with Griezmann, Usman Dembele, the list goes on, especially with the amount of flops that they've been having as well. But the thing is with Koeman, I don't think it's his fault. I think it's the board's fault, because if they had a different board, then I think he'd sort of stumble across along the league, do all right in the Champions League, maybe finish second and on the verge of getting a league title. I think he'd be a pretty average Barcelona manager, bearing in mind the fact that he constantly reminds us he used to play for them. But at the end of the day, I don't know, I really think it was a panic signing. I agree with Connor on this one. I think they're going to either end up going for Xavi, or it's just going to be another panic signing for him.
Just off comment, obviously, as Connor said about Poch being on Poch being on Monday Night Football, Pochettino has just said now, as I'm looking at Twitter, he just said that he is currently speaking to a team and things are close to being agreed.
United.
Yeah, it has to be.
Anyway,
I said Saturday, if it's true, I get a Milky Bar from someone.
You what? I will personally go on to Amazon and send you a box of Milky Bars if you're right.
Josh, I will hold you to that.
You hold me to that. You hold me to that. Don't you worry. I will remember this.
Paul.
Yeah, I think is it Font is in the running. A guy called Font in the running to become the next Barcelona president. I think he's the one that's supposed to be after Xavi. If they bring in, but I think fundamentally, is it La Masia, the academy they've got there? I think it's La Masia, where they come up, and you're not seeing too many players come through that through the sort of the nursery there. I think they've got who's the winger who plays for Barcelona?
Ansu Fati.
Fati's come through, and there's Pedre or something like that. Peder, I think he's another player there. But they've made some, sign like Griezmann has come in. He hasn't really hit the ground running. They've got rid of Sanchez as well. Dembele, I think he's a lot of the time he's injured as well. When he comes on, he does well. But I think if they get Xavi, they've got to get back to that La Masia way, bringing through the youth. And then they can, make progress in the future. But I don't think they've even got the money to bring anybody in now. I think Messi needs to go as well. They need to move on from Messi. Even I think it's okay. He's 33 now. You can't really build the next generation around Messi. It's time for him to go. And I think they've even said there, there's the door. You can go, sort of thing.
Absolutely. So. And the other name that I did put in there, thanks to Josh's good brain, was Lucien Favre, the Borussia Dortmund manager. Now, you said to me, Josh, how on earth has this guy not been, even considered getting the sack?
Right.
Haven't you?
Well, I can answer about Barcelona first quickly, because this is my favourite topic. Right. I love a bit of Ronald Koeman talk, because I've got a bit of hatred towards this guy after the Northern Ireland game against the Dutch last year in the Euro qualifying. But Ronald Koeman, I said it in the last week's podcast, when you get tactically done by Zidane, you're finished. You're done on the spot. Anyone who gets tactically done, like the Shakhtar Donetsk manager missing 10 first-team players outdoes Zidane in his back garden. But Ronald Koeman can't even beat Real Madrid with a mediocre. I think they were playing Luis Vázquez, a right back, that game too. Koeman will be gone. It's a matter of when and not if. It's as simple as that. Yeah. You can. It's hard to talk about Barcelona now that Bartomeu has finally resigned. So you don't know what the club's direction is now. But I think it's a matter of Koeman's an if and not a when. And there's not much more you can say about that. But he's taken himself a grave. Regarding Lucien Favre, this guy has not been in the title race the last 3 years. He's been knocked out of the Champions League, and the team can't defend for shit. Borussia Dortmund are the most open attacking team who have no defence, and how Mats Hummels still playing as a regular in a top team. He should be, no offence, a Cardiff team. He's at the age where he should just be going to a mediocre club where his experience will help. Lucien Favre is a clueless manager. He doesn't know. It's all about moving the ball quickly and forget the defence. We'll score about 6 goals and hope not to concede 6 at the other end. He doesn't know who his best goalkeeper is. He doesn't have any good centre back. He doesn't try to buy attackers. Like why did he buy Thomas Meunier? What does he bring to Borussia Dortmund? What
That
does
was a waste of money in my eyes.
what does Meunier bring? And if he did not have Haaland, the guy, the
It's
guy.
probably because they couldn't. It's probably because they couldn't get Hakimi nailed down.
Yes.
That was
Thomas
probably.
Meunier. There's better
was a
people than
huge
Thomas
loss for him.
Meunier. Though. There's better people than Thomas Meunier. You know, especially if you're going to play a wing back system like Lucien Favre has been doing. Like, does the back three suit Borussia Dortmund? No,
No.
the back three does not suit Dortmund at all. You know, they never do well in the Champions League. They've got one of the people don't talk about it because they don't show it, and that's because of him. But they have one of the best attacking threats in Europe. There's no question about that, but it's not talked about because of the way Lucien Favre uses him. He is not successful in the last few years, and when you have this common sense of football, I am certain he has nudes of whoever the Dortmund owner is. There's no way you do not get sacked. You know, Klopp would have been sacked. Pep Guardiola would have been sacked. Lampard would be sacked.
He's had a he's actually had a really good career though. If you looked at his history,
where he's career, but what
he's had a really good like Hertha, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Nice as well, and then Dortmund. Okay,
but we're not talking about a manager in his first year who's built the team into his own identity. He has had 6 transfer windows to build this team into his identity. And can any of you four tell me what he has achieved as a Borussia Dortmund manager?
Absolutely nothing so far. Just second place.
He throws it away every season. They start off really well. 15 points, the same as Munich at the moment.
I'm thinking
I'll probably tail off again, won't it? So.
I'm thinking about the money he spent too. Logically, think about the money Lucien Favre has been getting. That's all I have to say.
Right.
Well, I can defend him on actually going to Josh. Sorry, Doug, but he did really well to stay firm and keep Sancho. And not sell him for literally nothing.
Unless that was the board, the club itself. Or...
That's fantastic.
That's not Lucien Favre. No, that's the sporting director who basically who put United into a situation where Ed Woodward physically couldn't buy him. You know, that's not far.
Right, we have time. We have time for a few questions now. This one has been dominating the headlines. Why do you think the English media is defending Harry Kane and saying Salah died? Right, I have to say something. Did any of you see the ESPN issue with ESPN talking about Harry Kane? Did any of you see that on Twitter?
Yeah, didn't they do his speech? Didn't they take the mick out of it?
The ESPN crew laughed about Harry Kane's speech and saying that he is lucky to be a footballer, which is disgraceful. That's
just because of the American setup with sports where they just have to go through college and everything. If you don't go to college, then you're not going to be successful in America or do well in school and all that. But I don't know, they just seem to mock the system of all the other sports leagues in the world, except for their own, which they think is absolutely perfect when it's far from it. But
no relegation for there. So.
Yeah, shocking. And the fact you have to go through college and there's not like these smaller teams. So you have like these small youth setups. None of these top teams have like overly amazing youth setups, like the likes of Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, all have incredible youth teams, but not to be seen in America. I mean, thinking about you have like Duke University for basketball and stuff. It's just completely different over there. But I don't know. I think it's just because of a cultural difference.
Yeah. To answer your question very, very quickly, Ballum guy, Harry Kane is the media darling of English football.
Yeah, England captain as well.
Hands down.
England captain. So enough said.
He's a good player. He is a good player, mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Very good.
Liz Golden, not including teams you support. What matches are you looking forward to this week? Their Klassiker, Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich is on Saturday, so that'll be a very good match.
That's on the weekend, I think.
Cardiff.
Oh yeah.
Game.
Friday night.
Only if we win, though.
Everton Manchester should be a good one.
Yeah, I think Everton will have that actually.
The fall of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
And also, you know, I'll have to say, I'm surprised to see Pickford got job for Robin Olsen, who had a quite a good game against Newcastle. And
I think Olsen should be there to stay.
Gareth
Southampton. Okay, it's not the most glamorous match for the week, but Southampton against Newcastle. Really impressed with Southampton this season so far. I think they're up to 3rd or 4th in the table. So I want to see if they can continue their good form.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Welsh, who's been your Premier League player of the season, a young player of the season so far?
Oh, that's a good one. My player of the season.
Son, yeah, pretty good.
I'm actually going to go with Calvert-Lewin because of his score presence and everything. And young player, I'm actually going to go for Lamperty. I think he has been absolutely unreal for Brighton. I think it's right back, isn't it? He got his first goal.
We sold him for free.
Incredible.
From
That's nuts.
I like Podence from Wolves.
Yeah.
Well, he's done very well.
Yeah.
My player of the season so far would be James Rodriguez. I think he's just he's incredible.
He's settled in really well, hasn't he? I didn't think he'd settle in this quickly.
My young player of the season, weirdly enough, there was no young player this year so far who has stood out from the rest. Saka has been quiet at Arsenal. Chelsea, Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi haven't really been loud, so to speak. Technically, Havertz is a young player, but even he hasn't been particularly to his best yet. My best young player.
What about the defender? Is it who came from Arsenal, went to Southampton?
Gabriel?
No, Walker Peters, is it?
Okay, Walker Peters. He's been decent, but
he's
my young player of the season is Curtis Jones. I think the times he's played for Liverpool, he's been fantastic so far.
Interesting.
To walk into the Premier League champions, into a very, very, very tactical, solid midfield, and to play the way he has and be in that rhythm at his age, I think he so far has been my best player of the season. Young wise.
I would probably go young player Lampard. I think he's been fantastic. Should be a considerate for the Euro squad for England this year. And then player of the season, I'll go with Son. I think he's been fantastic this year in the Premier League. I know we just were talking about Harry Kane and that, but I think, to be fair, I think Harry Kane or Dominic Calvert-Lewin's got to be up there as well, because Kane's on I think he's on 8 assists and 6 goals as well, which
they sort of flip-flop.
That's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Sort of flip-flop with the goals and assists this season. So
it's mental. This question is for you, Paul and Nathan. Who will be the top 4 in the Premier League at the end of the season?
Interesting. I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to go Liverpool, Man City, the usual 2, Chelsea, and this is a big call, Everton.
Ooh, interesting,
Paul. Ooh, right, okay.
Controversial, but I think it's going to happen.
If Tottenham can sort out the defence, Tottenham. That's wild, because logic says Liverpool or Man City, but I like the look of Tottenham in the Premier League. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea as well. They've really sorted out that defence, so I'm gonna have to put Chelsea in there as well.
Interesting. And have I seen any more questions? Let's see. Oh yes, this one. Final question of the evening. If the Ballon d'Or wasn't cancelled this year, who would have been your winner? I'm going to say mine first. Robert Lewandowski.
Yep, same as you.
As you.
Robert Lewandowski was absolutely superb last season, and the amount of goals that guy scores. I mean, I think he is so underrated that not many clubs go for him.
He's the most underrated player in Europe right now, I'd say.
I think, who's the other player who plays up front with him for Munich?
Muller.
He's done well as well.
Not
Ballon d'Or quality. Not Ballon d'Or quality, but without him, Lewandowski.
Just sort of playing as that rudimentaire behind him has really just elevated him. And then you have the likes of Alphonso Davies, Kingsley Coman, Serge Gnabry, who I thought, how on earth is he doing this when he couldn't do it like West Brom or whatever? But yeah, they've got a really good tight attacking setup there. And I don't think, Robert Lewandowski's a great striker on his own, but when he's got amazing players around him, he can be the best player in the world, hands down.
Yeah.
Best goal scorer, I'm not sure about best player. Goal scorer.
Kappa.
Jesus Christ. That was that bad. I knocked down my mic.
That really knows you can't do it.
Yeah.
I've just seen. Right, this is definitely the last one. Signing of the season.
Thiago
Rodriguez.
James Rodriguez.
If he continues to do well, the the new Arsenal centre midfielder. I like the look of it. Partey.
Were you going to say something, Josh?
I'm generally going to be honest here. I'm not going to go for signing off the season in terms of players. I'm going to go in terms of impact, and it has to be Mendy.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to say this now. Diogo Jota.
Oh yeah.
I think the
impact player off the bench.
The impact he has had at Liverpool has been sensational, and he's just going to be like. I actually reckon now he is more capable of probably starting in this Liverpool team now.
He's undroppable.
Fit him in.
Probably Firmino.
It's more like if we were going to change systems full time, then you'd get all of them in at the same. More like a 4-2-3-1, and like just probably Mo up front, and then Mane and Jota on the wings. But I think he's at the minute. Jota is. I agree with Doug. Jota is just undroppable at the minute for Liverpool. And for 41 million, looks like an absolute bargain.
Yeah, actually, some of you are agreeing with me. Shane O'Donnell, Jota, Chris Welsh, Jota, Cian Dolan. I'm obviously biased, but I really think Jota is up there. 4 goals in 6 games is seriously good for a young fella coming into this young Liverpool side. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure yet again. Big thank you to Nathan and Paul Morgan for coming on as well. And we wish Cardiff City the best of luck for the rest of the season. But they're not.
So, can I just say something to all of you? So, obviously we have all of these guests on. Obviously we alternate between Connor. Thank you for joining us again today, Connor.
Thanks.
And also Reese. Also Reese is also on every alternative week. But also one of the things that me and Doug always talk about on this podcast is getting the viewers involved. This is not just me and Doug choosing who comes on. This is about getting the community involved, because this is football. Football is a community, and as long as we have to emphasize that we want to, you can debate all you want as long as it's positive and you don't offend anyone. And that's one thing we're all about here is positivity and talking. If you want to come on the football podcast and be a guest, my Twitter is there. Because Doug obviously runs his own YouTube channel and he works during the day, I basically sit this podcast, sit down, put my feet up, and watch Netflix. Besides, I'm working. I start 6 o'clock in the morning, so my days start early. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, please message me on my Twitter. That should be correct. If not, then it should be. I think Doug's got it in the description. If it is.
You've got that correct. You've got that correct.
So if you want to be a guest on the podcast, no matter where you're from, just give me a follow. I'll follow you back, and I will talk to you about trying to arrange a day at a time. Obviously, if you want to come on, you're from the States, so we can work something out for you. Obviously, with the whole big time zone difference, if you're interested. So, but, as I said, we were more than happy to have anyone on if you're interested to be on, and just give me a message, then I will relay the message on to Doug.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic show. Thank you to Dami who came on earlier. Thank you to Connor from the Cobb Council. Where can we find you on your socials?
So first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me back on. I know Reese, it was on last week, and I know he likes to declare it's his show, which I think he'll do again next week. So the Cobb Council, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. All that fun stuff, and thanks for having us on again.
Let's get you to 400 subscribers. You are so close now. 391.
It's not happening.
Incredible.
It's not happening.
Just get in there. Nathan, thank you very much. Where can we find you on your socials?
Absolutely loved it, Snow Dogs. Thanks for having us both on. It's been insane, mate. NWM, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You know what to do. Just type in the 3 letters. I'll be there.
Just to say, me and Doug have a lot of special things planned coming up. Me and him talk near enough every day about certain ideas, don't we, Doug? So, Nathan and Paul, you'll be more than welcome to come back on again and be a part of this.
We would absolutely love to.
Of course, Connor's going to start saying it's his show, so he already knows what the deal is.
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. Paul, thank you very, very much for coming on. Where can we find you in your socials?
Just search for Bluebird Legends for the Twitter and YouTube as well. But thank you very much, Douglas, for inviting us both on, and it's a pleasure to be in conversation with Connor and Josh as well. Yeah,
thanks, lads.
Thoroughly professional with both of you. So, and you, Doug, brilliant.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone who's watched tonight. It has been a fantastic show. We will be back next week. We'll be back next week at 7 o'clock this time, not 6 o'clock. But yeah, absolutely thank you. I think we had about 20 viewers at one point as well, which is absolutely insane for this podcast. But if you do like the podcast, then please hit that subscribe button and turn bell notifications on as well. But we'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I believe Leicester City's about to kick off. Get yourselves in front of the TV. That should be a cracking game.
Don't pay pay-per-view. No pay-per-view. Remember that.
No pay-per-view. Exactly.